Can we talk about Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
What are we doing with him in Dynasty rookie drafts? He's going to the combine as a cornerback. If you take him super early and some team drafts him to play corner and he gets 5 plays a game on offense, you're totally screwed. I don't know what to do about this. Cody and I were having the conversation yesterday. I was like, should we just take him off of the rookie rankings sheet now? And Cody's like, dude, no. Like, what's changed in the last 24 hours? We knew that he was probably going to test at the combine as a corner. We're going to have to rank him for fantasy in a way that is just commiserate with the fact that it could be that you end up drafting a guy that's a cornerback.
He's not going to play both positions. He's not going to be a two-way player in the NFL.
Well,
that's not on the table, right?
Well, no. Well, I mean, they kind of said he wouldn't be able to do it, and he wouldn't be able to continue doing it in college, and he just kind of did. They're like, dude, he can't go through college playing 130 snaps a game. And so, I mean, he did. I mean, he's obviously a mold breaker, but man, let's just think about it. So if he were to, and I know this is not even on the show sheet, so sorry to start out the show with a curveball, but if he were, he's good at both, right? He's a really good wide receiver. He's a really good cornerback, right? The NFL obviously likes him better at corner, but even if they liked him better at wide receiver, could you ever see, there's never going to be a situation where it's like, where you're going to get the most value out of this player by saying, oh, all right, let's have him play let's have him play wide receiver, and then let's have some packages where he plays corner. That just isn't how it would work. The only way that he's going to play on offense is if he's playing cornerback and they're like, all right, well, we're going to have some of the Travis Hunter packages on offense. We're going to get him in there for 15 gadget snaps per week, right? There's never going to be a 15 gadget cornerback snaps per week. Like that's a game. Like you got to be in there for the whole dance, for the whole game, working with the wide receiver. We're going to get the wide receiver doing that stuff.
There's not a situation in the game where it's like, all right, we got to finally put Travis Hunter in at corner. We got to shut this guy down. Yeah. Player X is killing us, and we need to put Travis Hunter out there. Enough already. Right, we need to push the red button, call the red phone, get Travis Hunter out there and shut down wide receiver X. That's not going to happen. If he's not putting in the snaps in practice and he's not putting in the work as a full-time corner, he's not going to be capable of going out and smothering an NFL wide receiver, especially a top-tier talent like a Jamar Chase. That's never going to happen. He's only going to get to that level where he could shadow a Jamar Chase if he is a full-time corner in the off season, in practice, in the film room,
throughout
all
a game.
Those things.
Right, throughout a game, you got to get into the matchup with the other guy, right? It's like you don't just come in for one thing like on offense where they can just hand him a ball on a reverse or get him on a orbit motion and just get the ball in his hands. It's just different, and so I wonder. Like, where is he going? Like, so fast draft, you guys have the origin stuff right now. Is he
the rookie only drafts? Yeah,
rookie only drafts on fast draft.
I've seen him go as high as 5, as low as 10. He's in that 5 to 10 zone. But what's interesting to me here is
that's a terrible pick, Matt.
If you're an NFL team and you're going to draft Travis Hunter, one of the benefits, one of the allures of Travis Hunter is his dual purpose ability, right? You have that. And the only way you're going to get anything out of him as a two-way player is if he's a full-time corner and a part-time offensive player. We know that. But on the other side, that's the incentive structure of the team. The incentive structure of the Travis Hunter camp is we want to be a full-time wide receiver and get full-time wide receiver, star wide receiver money. So we know that star wide receivers make more than the top corners. So if and you also get more endorsements. So if you're Travis Hunter and you're his agent, you prefer him to go into the league as a wide receiver if you believe that the probability of him breaking out as a star receiver is about equivalent of him breaking out as a star corner. Now, Sauce Gardner does have endorsements. Sauce Gardner is going to be, very well paid. He's going to be paid more than almost every other wide receiver in the league. So it's certainly possible for you to be on par with all but the absolute best wide receivers in the league in terms of annual compensation. So it's not like the differential between corners and wide receivers is that great. It's not like running back and wide receiver. It's not like that at all. So that's the math that you're doing. If you're sitting, it's a very interesting dilemma that Travis Hunter faces, in that ideally, if things break right, he is a star wide receiver and he never plays it down at corner. He would actually make more doing that than contributing at all as a cornerback. But if you're an NFL team, you'd much rather him be a full-time corner, because lockdown corners are so hard to find, harder to find than quality, wide receivers that can contribute to an offense. And then you also get the benefit, if you're an NFL team, of being able to call gadget plays for him, or just have him play out of the slot. We saw with Deion Sanders, we've seen it in situations where you have a running back running plays out of the slot, running routes out of the slot. You've seen running backs convert to wide receiver and receivers convert to running back. Dexter McCluster, Tavon Austin, all of these players have added value to NFL offenses. So to have the potential of a lockdown corner and a playmaker that can add value to the offense, an NFL team would want him in that role. But he and his people would rather him be a wide receiver. So if he is opting to go to the combine as a cornerback, that's his choice. If he's making this choice on the front end, you know what? We've weighed all our options, and I've had to be honest with myself about where my abilities are and where I can optimize my growth as a professional. If he's volunteering to go to the combine as a corner, that tells me that they've done all the iterations behind the scenes, and they've projected all of his outcomes, and they've said, listen, the way to optimize your outcomes, to minimize the risk and to maximize the upside for your career, is to go to the combine as a corner. In that case, drafting Travis Hunter in the first round of a rookie draft or the first round of the Origins rookie best ball tournament on Fast Draft is a mistake.
If he gets drafted as a corner, it's lighting it on fire. But I think that the one thing, I think you're right. I'll just, an addendum to sort of what you said as far as like the money that he can make as far as marketing dollars, all the rest of that stuff. And I understand, like you said, Justin Jefferson is on all the commercials, right?
He's not going to be on the cover of Madden as a cornerback.
Yeah, but if you're a guy that's widely recognized and sort of famous as a really good cornerback, but you also can come in and you can make big plays on offense and stuff, you're gonna probably get to be on the cover of magazines and all the rest of it, just because that's such a unicorn type of player, right? But I think there has to be some kind of, there has to be something where there's the splash plays on offense to kind of go along with it. My question is, it's just like, if we're just talking about. If we're just talking about it from people are crazy about getting ready for Dynasty rookie mocks right now. We're about to talk about the whole rookie class in general, but I just feel like this is kind of like, as far as the actual NFL draft, this is the Heisman winner. This is like a keystone piece of the actual rookie class, right?
Yeah.
It's so.
Would you draft him 1 overall if you could get him as a corner who also is going to play, let's say, 25% of the offensive snaps? Isn't he worth the first overall pick?
In football or
not in the NFL draft in April?
Sure.
Yeah, yes. Right?
But yeah, it's just so much different than it's why we use the generational term too much. Everybody does it. They say it's generational talent, but like that's a truly, literally kind of like in my job. How many of these guys have we had?
Well, it's a great point you're making, though. Your point is great in that you can't compare him to Sauce Gardner. You've got to put him in a completely different category that we haven't seen before, where you have to go to other sports and look at Ohtani and be like, okay, if Ohtani's going to be a starting pitcher, you can't just look at him as a starting pitcher and project his endorsement dollars of the top starting pitchers. No, he's a completely different guy. He's a unicorn. So if
flats home runs and stuff too, it's wild. Yeah.
Travis Hunter as a unicorn is potentially going to get on the cover of Madden.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Hunter as the first NFL player since Deion Sanders to really do this in a meaningful way, week in, week out in the NFL, as a star player at a high level, he is going to get all the endorsement money anyway. So he's going to live the life of a wide receiver, play corner, score some exciting touchdowns on offense because he's going to be featured in when he's on the field. That's the other nice thing about it, is his target rate will be very high when he's on the field, but that's not going to be enough. If you're only getting 25% of snaps, it's just not going to be enough. It's not going to be. He's not someone that you would want to draft in that case in fantasy football. It's like Deion Sanders was never someone that was helping your fantasy team, but he was very exciting.
Exactly.
He was very exciting. It was an exciting situation when he would get out there.
He's not going to score you any fantasy points. So I because
Deion Sanders was the ultimate. Like, people are like, oh, Deion Sanders, you're talking about something else. You're talking about two sports. No. On the Falcons, he played a lot of wide receiver. Do you remember this? There were a few seasons where they had him at wide receiver. They were playing him a lot at wide receiver. This was a thing that was happening. This is going to be that times 5 in terms of the number of snaps.
And so how do you take him in the first round of your Dynasty rookie draft?
You can't. Well, let me pull it up. I'll pull up Origins. I'll pull up the latest draft on Origins. Just went off. So yes, Travis Hunter went at the 107. So this draft went Ashton Genty, Cameron Ward, Shadur Sanders, Tet McMillan, Hampton, Burton, Hunter, Egbuka, Warren, Travion Henderson. And this is why people should be drafting on Fast Draft, because think of the names that weren't listed there. You didn't hear Judkins, you didn't hear Dart, you didn't hear Caleb Johnson, so you didn't hear Ollie Gordon. I'm more of a running back drafter in rookie drafts. So when I see a bunch of wide receivers go in the first round, I'm eager to get in the second round and slay.